What's going on, everybody? Steve Holland here, and I'm excited to bring you episode 3 of my Tikka Precision Hunter series. This episode, we're getting into premium upgrades. So we've already covered barebone Tikka rifle performance. We took that out to the range. We showed some results of what you get out of a bare stock Tikka right out of the box. Then we made some budget upgrades and improved upon that stock option. And now we're getting into what are some premium ways that we can upgrade our rifle and see really good results. So we'll start up top. For this rifle, I swapped out the stock Vortex rings that I had, precision match rings, and we put on these Area 419 Precision Hunter rings. I really like them. They're matched. They're beautiful construction. They have locking upper rings, and they're lightweight because they're the Hunter series. With Area 419, we also installed that 20 MOA scope base, and we have the Hellfire comp up top. That should mitigate all of our recoil out of this Magnum round. All right, moving on to the scope. Vortex was gracious enough to send us this scope. They sent us a Razor LHT. It's a 4.5 to 22 by 50. And I use this same scope on my lightweight coyote hunting 6.5 Creedmoor, and I just love it. It's very lightweight. It weighs 1.3 pounds, and it's got HD glass in it. It's got everything I want. Locking turrets, capped windage, so the perfect kind of out in the field hunting setup. And then the biggest upgrade we made was a premium barrel. So spent a pretty big hefty coin on getting this 24-inch Sendero profile carbon fiber. Changed the caliber from 7mm mag to the new 7 PRC. With the Tikka, the tolerances are so tight with Tikka that you're able to do a barrel swap yourself. And so I reached out to Phil Vallejo. Phil Vallejo reached out to Short Action Customs, and they sent me this Bravo barrel vise. Super simple. It comes with these bushings that go around your barrel and create kind of like a pinch point for you to then put into the vise. And then with a action wrench and a wrench, you're able to spin that action off the barrel. Super simple. I admit I got a little excited when I got all this stuff and I didn't film it. I just went out and performed the barrel swap. So here's the old barrel. And I admit the factory torque setting on there was pretty hard. I did have to take a torch, put just a couple minutes of heat on there, but after I put some heat on there, it came right off. So relatively simple, nothing to be scared about. Once I had the right tools, it was fairly simple for me to do myself. I then spun on the Proof Research barrel, took a torque wrench with the same action wrench and tightened it down to 100 inch-pounds, and no go gauges, and everything matched up perfectly and went straight to the range. So I am very happy with this. I was very excited to go to the range, but I had to wait a little bit. I was teaching a course, a tripod clinic at Brave Lizard in Utah. And I thought that was a perfect time to take this rifle up there and do some tests. So I had to wait. So I took my time, collected some ammo. I was able to find Hornady 175 Precision Hunter that shoots the ELDX. I got this Hornady Outfitter, which is all copper, though it's shooting the 160 grain CX. And I don't have the box here, but I got a couple boxes of the 180 grain Hornady Match shooting the ELDM bullet. I'm sticking with Hornady because I stand by their product. I've never had a problem with their bullets, so I just stuck with what I know. I'm a big fan of the Fordoff Ballistic app, so it's very easy to just find all their bullets in the bullet library with that and just go hit the field and use the product. So I just stuck with Hornady. I felt no need to grab anything else. Range results. So I was very surprised with the initial results and kind of concerned. I have, I think, 6 other proof research barrels, and they've all been phenomenal. Sub MOA performance, most of them shooting half MOA. As you know, it all depends on how you shoot, but I've been able to get consistent half MOA results out of my proof barrels. So when I shot and I was getting these results, I was not happy. So probably about 1.5 inches with the ELDMs to 2 inches, and then 2 inches with the ELDX, and friggin' 2.5, 3 inches with the CX. So not happy with those. Once I had those results, I was kind of questioning myself, but I was like, maybe it's just the barrel. Those are the initial kind of 20, 30 rounds. Let's just keep shooting it and see what we do. Because I was in Utah, I was able to shoot suppressed. I wish I could just shoot suppressed all the time, but I had a Thunder Beast Ultra 7 available for me to use, so I screwed that on. And maybe it's my military training, but anytime I have the option to use a suppressor, I always get my muzzle velocities unsuppressed and then immediately get my muzzle velocities suppressed, so that if I ever found myself in either of those two situations, I was already set up for success with what my average muzzle velocity was with those. So I shot some groups suppressed, gathering the muzzle velocities from that, and my group sizes shrunk dramatically. So I shot 3 rounds here, and it was just under 1 inch, and I was like, what the heck? Why would adding a suppressor make my shots much accurate? So then I shot all the other groups. The ELDX shot freaking 1/2 inch. The CX kind of like 1/2 inch. I started noticing a pattern in 2 things. 1, it shot great suppressed. 2, I started seeing 3 rounds stack on top of each other, and then the group would start opening up after those 3 rounds. So remember what we talked about, barrel profile. This is a thinner barrel on a Magnum cartridge. Metal heats up. So I took a mental note that 5 rounds is kind of going to be my max. 3 rounds to be super accurate, and then 2 after that will keep me within kind of that 1 inch, but any more after that, and then I got to start worrying about the cone of fire opening up because of metal expansion due to the heat. If you remember from my last video, I said if you're ever going to add a muzzle brake, make sure you shoot a control group without a muzzle brake and then shoot a group with the muzzle brake. So I took my own advice. I took the muzzle brake off and I shot 3 rounds with no muzzle brake. And the difference in recoil impulse and just recoil in general from the 7 PRC to the 7 Rim Mag was much different. If you remember the last video, I had to shoot many rounds unbraked, and that thing tore my shoulder up. Just 5 rounds, I was done. I was ready to walk away from the video and take a break from shooting. 3 rounds unbraked from this gun was like nothing. It was night and day difference. And The muzzle velocities are basically the same from 7 rim mag to 7 PRC, but just something about that round and how it recoils, it wasn't bad at all. It was a noticeable difference switching between a 7 rim mag and 7 PRC. When I shot those 3 rounds, I was able to keep them within 1 inch. So you can see here, no break, 3 rounds, about 1 inch. And what did that tell me? That told me that something about that combo between the muzzle brake and this barrel, the gun didn't like. Now, I've never had a problem with Area 419's Hellfire brake. This is the first time I've experienced my group widening. So it kind of got the gears, spinning in my head on what I should do. And I kind of went down a rabbit hole for muzzle brakes. And I decided to buy a Hellfire 4-port brake. And then I started hearing of a tunable brake. Eric Cortina makes a tunable brake that I have right here, and I'll use it to kind of explain how it works. So it threads on your barrel as such, and it has a real heavy kind of shroud on here, and it's got some weight to it. But what you can see on here is it's numbered at the top, and this shroud rotates on there, and you can select different numbers. So you're basically taking this heavy part of the barrel and moving it up and down. So pretty cool concept. I had heard about it, wanted to see if it would work. And then the Hellfire 4-port looks just like the 3-port, but has 4 ports. All right, so expanding off my control group, I decided to run a little experiment. So I shot those control groups with no brake. I shot a few rounds with the Hellfire 3-port. I shot a group with the Hellfire 4-port, and you can see group sizes get worse. So then I put on the tunable brake, and the instructions say start with setting 0 and then go in increments of 2. So I started with 0, shot a group, went to 2, and it tightened my group up, and I was like, well, I'm good. I'm gonna stop there. Then I went to setting 4, 6, 8, and 10. And you can see setting 2 is a good group, but when you look at setting 8, that was my point of aim, point of impact. I didn't have to re-zero or anything like that. So about the same group size, but these ones stacked, and I didn't have to change my 0. I was done. I just left it on setting 8, and it was good. What you can also see here is a confirmation that the barrel starts to heat up after that 3rd round. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, pretty good group, and then a 4th, and then a 5th. And then 1, 2, 3, and then it starts getting, once you pass that 3 rounds, after you let the barrel cool, it starts to heat up and the rounds start dancing. So I confirmed that after 3 rounds, my barrel needs to cool down, which is fine because remember, it's purpose-built for a long-range precision hunting rig. So sometimes shooting coyotes, you'll get more than 3 rounds, but more than likely you're shooting 2 and then you're done. You move to the next spot. So I'm fine with it being accurate to 5 rounds. I thought this test was pretty cool, that you're able to essentially tune your rounds. And for me, it got my head spinning because in California, we have to use copper rounds. And Whenever you get a new gun, I suggest buying a box of a bunch of different grains, different brands, and shooting 5-round groups and find out what your gun likes, and then buy bulk of what your gun likes. So with this tunable brake, in theory, if it continues to work like I demonstrated here, you could go out and buy any ammo you want and just tune the brake to that. And then with the copper ammo, because copper is so much lighter than lead, the bullets tend to have to be longer to kind of get near the same weight, but you'll never get a copper bullet that's heavy like a lead bullet. So they tend to be longer but still lighter. And so a lot of guns don't like that combination and don't shoot all copper as well as they shoot lead. So in California, hunters tend to have to compromise accuracy for being legal. They have to use copper, even though it doesn't shoot nearly as good as lead. They're restricted to copper, so they have to use something that's maybe not as accurate. And that, as you know, leads to missed shots or unethical shots where you maybe will just wound an animal or not hit the vitals as precise as you thought you wanted to. So I personally don't like that. And so with a tunable brake, being able to tune the copper to shoot as well as lead is very appealing to me and something that we should explore later on. In the last video where we upgraded to this Outlier chassis, I told you that I got this handguard in the shortest configuration because I planned on hunting with it. I wanted the lightest possible configuration. So I bought this small handguard so that I could run the bipods if I wanted to, but 90% of the time hunting, I just put the tripod on here. So I didn't need a 15-inch handguard for something I'm only using, you know, the first 3 or 4 inches for. So I thought it was cool that you have 3 options of handguards to use and just held in with these little screws right here. So I got on their website and let me back up. Phil Vallejo, my friend, posted a video, and he's the one that sparked this whole thing for me. He posted a video of him shooting a mile, and he was able to get 3 rounds in the air at the same time before the first round hit the mile target. So pretty crazy, 3 rounds in the air at the same time, and then all 3 rounds hitting the mile long target. And I was like, that's crazy. How did he do this? And I looked at his gun, and you know, he's got the long handguard, all the weights on it, and watching his trigger cam, that freaking reticle didn't move off the target. And I was like, man, I've always gone the direction, because I'm a hunter, of the lightest rifle ever, you know. But sometimes I teach law enforcement classes, sometimes I teach military, so maybe light is not always a one size fits all for me. Maybe I need to have an option of maybe a heavier gun. And so I got on Outlier's website and I found a 15-inch handguard. I think it's 15. And then I got on MDT's website and I picked up 8 of these forearm weights, and I added, it's got some heft to it. I could probably defend myself in a fight with this. But you're able to take this screw out, screw this in, and then you have a 15-inch handguard letting you mount the bipods further up the barrel, providing you more stability, leading to more accuracy. And then you have a bunch of weight on there that then gives you more stability, leading to more accuracy. But remember, don't just take people's word for it. Go shoot it at the range. And so, where's my... For reference, tune number 8 with the Eric Cortina tunable brake. Pretty good group. So this is in its current configuration with the short handguard, 5 rounds. Also funny, 3 rounds and then 2. So again, proving that 5 rounds, kind of after that 3 rounds, you kind of start getting that shift. Then I installed the heavy handguard and I shot another 5 rounds, and look at that. Significant better recoil reduction. I'm able to not move off that 1-inch pasty shooting with the heavy handguard, but look at the point of impact shift due to the change in the recoil pattern. I thought that that was pretty crazy just by switching the handguard. It's a free floating handguard, so it's not touching the barrel or anything. It's just purely how it changes the recoil impulse and how you are probably connecting your rifle shoulder connection. Pretty cool. I don't know, that's the Hornady CX. Maybe, probably just get muzzle velocity again. So, that is enough science for today. All right, let's talk about bullet performance and then more specifically hunting bullet performance and what the difference is. So, EDLM, out of this, on the box, they advertise like a 3,000 foot per second. I was getting an average of 2841 with an SD of 20. With the Precision Hunter, ELDX, they are advertising 3,000 at the muzzle. I was getting 2866, again with a 24-inch barrel, SD of 11. With the outfitter that shoots the 160CX, I was getting 2943 with an SD of 8. So really good. They advertised 3,000 as well. I was not able to hit that 3,000 with any of those rounds, which is crazy because I think 24 is a pretty long barrel. I should be getting closer to 3,000, I think. If you do some online kind of reading, I think that I'm not the only one that feels that way. Anyways, performance of match bullets versus hunting bullets. So traditionally shooting match bullets, you're only worried about muzzle velocity, standard deviation, and extreme spread. And that will kind of give you a kind of guesstimate of what your performance will be downrange. Remember, for a precision round, I try and get, for a precision factory round, I try and find something where my SDs are lower than 10. For a hand load, I usually try and get SDs lower than 5, but 100% they should be lower than 10. But for hunting rounds, you need to pay more attention to your muzzle velocity at the range that you're shooting at. Or I guess you have to worry about that in addition to. And why is that? Hunting bullets are designed to expand in-game. They're designed to mushroom, pedal out, and then cause terminal effects downrange. The bullet manufacturers manufacture these bullets to expand and perform at certain muzzle velocities. So with a quick Google search or looking up in your reloading manual, stuff like that, you can find, hey, the Hornady CX bullet is designed to perform down to 2,000 feet per second. So that's your minimum velocity that you should be shooting game at. Anything under that, 2,000 feet per second, you run the risk of the bullet not performing as intention and just wounding the game. And in my experience, when you use the wrong bullet or you don't use the bullet correct, you tend to just make pencil holes through your game, and they tend to run off, or they slip away from you. It tends to not have the terminal effects downrange as you're walking, such as hunting coyotes with a full metal jacket, or like green tip. Like those bullets, green tip, are designed to punch through concrete and stuff like that. Punch through body armor, soft armor. So if you hit a soft game animal like a coyote or a rabbit or a deer or something like that, those bullets tend to just whip right through that soft meat and not cause the terminal effects as you want. So you're just wounding that animal, which is bad, not ethical. I don't condone it. So how do we find out the terminal velocity downrange? Like I said, go to your reloading manual, do a quick Google search, do a search of their website, and find, hey, what's the minimum velocity that these were designed to expand for? These Hornady CX 7mm bullets are designed to perform down to 2,000 feet per second. So if you have a Ballistic app, which Hornady 4DOF is free, and I highly suggest it. I'm going to pull up Hornady 4DOF. I'm going to pull up the range card. I'm going to select 1,000-yard range in 50-yard increments, and it's going to pull up my range card. I'm then going to slide to the right until it says velocity. And I'm going to scroll down until I get to the nearest where it says 2,000 feet per second. And so for me, at 700 yards, my velocity is 2,025 feet per second. Now remember, you have a standard deviation. So for this, it was 10 feet per second. I think actually 8, but we'll just round it 10 for math. So even if I was at the low part of my SD at 700, I would still be above that 2,000 feet per second. And so I'm going to remember, write down, take a mental note, 700 yards is my max effective shooting range to where I will take game ethically. And that's how a hunter should be finding out how far he can take game. I see some guys shooting at 1,000 yards, 1,200, 1,400 on deer and elk. If your cartridge, there's cartridges that can go out that far. Some guys hunt with 3.38s, which is crazy to me. I've seen some 7 Psalms that are really fast. So I'm not bashing anyone for shooting that far. I'm just saying, if you don't have experience in knowing how far you should shoot, that is how I would do it. So I know that 700 yards is my max effective. So when I go out in the field for this deer hunt, I'm gonna put a personal limit at 700. I'm not gonna, even though I know I've shot farther with this, I've shot out to 1,000, 1,200, 14. I know I can hit farther. I know I can do it. Me being ethical, there's a difference between hunting game and hunting steel. So for deer, for elk, maybe hopefully one day, 700 is it using this Hornady CX from the factory. Now, if I were to reload and I could bump those numbers up, then it would bump my range up. So be smart about it. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this video up, but just like in the other video, I wanna go back to video number 2 and address some of the comments. So I'm just gonna scroll through some of these and kind of summarize. The first one One guy was saying that he used to shoot exclusively with all copper rounds, and then when he switched to a match round, his accuracy was not where it should be. Even though he knows that shooting that match round before, the lead round, he was able to achieve good accuracy. And through his research, he found that the two coppers are not the same. The copper alloy from a solid copper round kind of tends to stick to your barrel more than the copper jacket of a lead round. And so if you're shooting a lot of copper alloy rounds and then switching to match, he said, make sure that you scrub all that copper alloy out if you want to not be hindered in your accuracy with that. I mean, solid advice. Everyone needs a friend like Cam. Cam is awesome. He was the guy that spun my barrel on here and put a muzzle brake on here. He's my gunsmith friend of mine. I agree. Everyone needs a gunsmith friend. One guy commented on my mustache. That's funny. I enjoy it. One guy asked if I adjusted the trigger weight. I actually liked the trigger weight. It was not bad at all. I had no problem with it. It's pretty light. I didn't mess with it. I didn't feel the need for it. The pull's pretty consistent, and I was able to feel the wall and break that rod. So didn't mess with the trigger weight. One guy asked if I was selling my barrel after I pulled it off. If you want it, message me. It's a paperweight, man. All right, that's pretty much all the answerable question. I addressed all the other ones in the comments. So thanks for commenting. If you have any questions here, comment. I'll get back to you. Please like the video. The more people that like the video motivates me to make the next video. So if you like my content, please subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content from myself and the cadre. If you don't follow the other cadre instructors, just go to our website, thecadretraining.com, and you can find all their links on there. Really good guys, solid group of individuals. I really enjoy teaching alongside them, and I view their content as well. I'm constantly learning from Phil and Matt and John. Ian's just funny as hell, and Eric, God, those guys are funny. So thank you for your support. This is the build. I'm so excited to go out on this deer hunt. I've got a couple buddies that are going to go out with me. So deer hunting in California is challenging. We have like a freaking 100-to-1 ratio of hunters to deer. It seems like most of the bigger deer are in Central California, in like the Mammoth Mountains there. That's where I hope to hunt one day, but it takes 8 years to build enough points to get there, so I'm forced to hunt just the local deer, and the area where I live around Big Bear is just crowded with everybody, and their mama is trying to hunt these deer around here, so very challenging. I've got my deer cameras out right now. Unfortunately, where they're at, there was a big fire last year, and where I had been scouting probably 3 to 4 years prior and seeing deer, good deer, I haven't got a single trail cam picture of any bucks, so a little discouraged. I'm gonna have to really kick up my scouting here soon and find a deer in the flats, but I've got a couple buddies that are willing to help me out, so stay tuned for episode 4. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.